welcome to For Our Empire. I'm your host, Abby Nwaucher. And so today's bonus episode is actually included in part of the welcome package in the For Our Empire membership. So once you become a member, it's one of the first things you see. But I thought it's something that I should share with everyone. And so I'm just going to break it down right now. In the membership portal, it's in a video form, but you can still enjoy it right now. So this is for people who are trying to write content, whether it's a blog post, an email campaign, or an Instagram caption, but then you're just staring at this blank page of doom and you're not quite sure what to write. Or sometimes you have a good idea of what you want to write, but you've written your introduction paragraph a million times. You type it, you clear it out, you type it, you clear it out, and nothing quite packs that punch. Nothing you've written just hits that feels you want, and so you've not even written anything because nothing you write is good enough. So here's my advice on what you need to do. So this applies once again to blog post, email campaign, Instagram caption, or any really written content. So the first thing you want to do is consume content based on what you want to put out. So let's scratch that and go back a bit. First thing you need to know is have like an overall topic of what you want to write about. It doesn't have to be super in-depth. It can be one sentence, it could be a phrase, it could be a word, but it just has to be like the general overview of what you want to write about at the broadest level possible. What's your topic about? If you were to describe this in a very simple way, what would it be? It could be online sales, it could be eating disorders, it could be entrepreneur, which is like juggling motherhood and entrepreneurship. So just break down what you want to write about into a sentence, a phrase, or a word. You just need to have that high level view of what your content is going to be about. Next thing you want to keep in mind is for you to put out something, you have to take in something, because when you're writing a content, you're pouring out what's already inside you. Yes, you have the knowledge. Yes, you have the expertise, but it's not going to be very easy to just keep putting out and keep putting out and keep putting out without consuming more. So what you want to do is before you start writing, consume some content based on the topic you want to write about. So it could be watching some YouTube tutorials, it could be listening to some podcasts around the topic, it could be reading some blog posts around the topic. So just take a day and just consume as much content as you can around this particular topic. Don't start writing it, because if you do write immediately after consuming this content, you're going to end up like literally copying and pasting what you've just read, and that's not quite good. There's no different actual effort into creating this content that you just consumed. And it's quite unfair in a way if you just copy and paste someone else's content under the guise that it's your own content. So just consume this content, but give yourself a day. Let the content really seep into you. Let it really get into you. Let your brain and the background sort of walk around all this. And you would understand it a lot better because you already know this topic. You already have, content to write. Sure, the content is not coming out, but you do know this topic. So what you know, added to what you've just read, when you do start writing your own content, you're going to have a lot coming out. So you take a day to just absorb new content, let it really get into you. And then the next day, close that writing software you use, whether that's your Microsoft Word or your Google Docs or your Notepad or your Dropbox paper or your YWriter, whatever you use, just close it. There is something really daunting and overwhelming and just shitty about staring at this blank white screen. White's always white, by the way. It's overwhelming. So just close that. You don't need that kind of stress in your life right now. So just close that. Take a physical pen and paper. I've realized that it's a lot easier for me to pour out all my ideas, however disjointed it might seem. It's a lot easier to pour all of that down in a physical pen and paper, a physical notepad, than staring at this white screen on my laptop or on a computer or on your phone. So get a pen and paper. Next thing you want to do is get a timer on your phone or on your computer. I would recommend a Pomodoro timer. So the Pomodoro timer sort of works in intervals of 15 to 25 minutes with a 5 minutes rest. So you keep doing that. It's mostly used by writers who want to write in sprints. So when some writers are having like a writer's block, they tend to use a Pomodoro technique to break through that writer's block, because for 15 to 25 minutes, they just write out whatever comes into their head. Their draft is going to be very messy and disjointed, and it might not make that much sense, but it sort of like pushes past that writer's block by letting you offload all the ideas you have in your head. A 5 minutes rest, another interval. 5 minutes rest, another interval. But you're not going to do all that intervals. You're just going to do one interval. So 25 minutes, whichever works for you. So for that 15 25 minutes, write down all you can think of about this topic in your notepad. A physical notepad, by the way, not your computer notepad. So it can be really weird, certain forms that nobody else would understand but you. It could be just broken sentences. It can be bullet points in lists that are not quite organized, but you understand it. So just let the feeling, take charge. Just write whatever comes into your head. The point of this exercise is so that you're not starting from zero. You're not starting from a blank white screen, but you already have a rough draft to work with. So for 15 to 25 minutes, write all that you can into this notepad. Just jot it down, keep going, and don't stop until your 15 to 25 minutes are up. Just whatever comes into your head about this topic, write it all down. When the 15 or 25 minutes are over, you can now start typing all this into your whatever you use for writing your blog post or your email campaigns or your Instagram captions. So I tend to use Dropbox Paper, but I'm now transitioning to Google Docs. So you just type all of this. As you're typing this out, you can organize your bullet points, the shortened word that you had written, which maybe sometimes I have this idea in my head and I'm too overwhelmed to write out the full sentence or to write out the full word. So I just use like a very shortened form. Like I use a C with a dash on top instead of a which. So I just like write really fast. So as you're typing that onto your computer, you can now start all your short words, all your short sentences, all your short phrase, really put it out as an actual word, as an actual phrase that somebody can actually understand. So just type that out, organize things. Now, it's still gonna be a draft, it's still not gonna be a perfect blog post yet, but now you're not starting from scratch anymore. Now you're not staring at a blank screen. You can now flesh out the draft you have and use it to have a proper introduction, a proper conclusion, a proper body in your blog post, in your Instagram caption, in your email campaign. So that's how you defeat this white page of doom. That's what most writers do. Lots of fiction writers use this, and a few non-fiction writers use this for their writer's block. And that, for marketers, is something that I have used and it works for me, and that's something I recommend to everyone. So if you're still struggling with writing content and just staring at this white blank page on your computer is just, this is a solution for that. Okay, see you later. In our next video, I'll talk about what to do when you're trying to have some income, generate some income to your business. Maybe you have a 9 to 5 or a side hustle and you're trying to be more independent and work for yourself, not for a corporation. And so you tend to juggle a lot of things. You're a graphic designer, you're a virtual assistant, you're a WordPress designer, you're so many things, to make some money. And that's understandable. We all want to make money. So in our next video, we'll talk about what you need to do